Whenever I stand here near this small gentleman, my friends in Israel tell me, is it real? Is it a joke? Are you serious? Dear friends, Dobar Dan, good morning, Shalom. I'm really happy and honored to be privileged and stand here in front of you and to give the first speech or address or presentation regarding Israel, Serbia, what we can learn from each other. Before I start, speaking about new energy, I would like to thank very much those gentlemen and ladies sitting here. And foremost, with the bottom, from the bottom of my heart, Mr. Robert Choban. If there is a new message, a real authentic voice to change things, that voice is very much connected to Roban. And I think that Serbia should go through a process of Chobanization. And that... and that would be, I don't mean the size necessarily, although it's also very nice. I'm ambassador of Israel to Serbia. I love my country. And there are so many good reasons to love and to appreciate and to respect Israel. Israel, speaking of startups, is a startup for itself. A startup that succeeded. Israel incorporates a long list of miracles. A few crazy guys decided that the right thing for the Jewish people is to create a state and to come back home. And they did it. It was perhaps against all odds. Who could have thought that a nation that was on the edge of extinction and annihilation 70 years ago here in Europe would be today a Gazda of a homeland which is so prosperous and strong, internationally speaking, and military speaking? Who could have thought that Jews that were sent by trucks, gas trucks, and murdered in Yaince and from Starosamishte would export weapons, sophisticated weapons, to the world, including to Germany? Who could have thought that refugees who came to Israel from non-democratic countries would create a wonderful parliamentarian democracy? The only one in a whole region which stretches from the Atlantic until India. Who could have thought that a language that was almost forgotten, it was in a way a Latin language, the Hebrew, only spoken in synagogues, would be one day a modern, vibrant, a wonderful language in which you write books and you have talk shows and you have jokes, and it's a normal, modern language, the Hebrew language. And who could have thought that a country which is stuck in the Middle East, without resources, a very tiny place, would create such a wonderful economy? It is a miracle. At the beginning, we were producing oranges and holy things in a country which is so poor in natural resources. We have one small lake, the Sea of Galilee, which is shrinking because we have no water, no rain. We have one Dead Sea, the Dead Sea. You don't have a single fish in the Dead Sea. There's more salt than water. We have one river there, the Jordan River. In the Jordan River, you have more history than water. If Serbs will go there, they will say, sorry, where's the water? Where's the river? It's very tiny. But still, today, we do not live from export of oranges or urma or holy souvenirs. We became strong in high-tech. Because from the beginning, the initiators of Israel, they knew that the biggest assets we have, as you have, and we'll talk about it in a minute.
You don't have light on your face, so just
Ooh.
now.
Now you see me?
It's good.
Good. What is better? Since the beginning, the initiators, the founders of the state understood that what we have is not necessarily mountains and valleys and deserts. We are a small country, 20,000 square kilometers. We don't have mineral resources, except what we found recently, the natural gas that I will speak it in a minute. We don't have gold, we don't have uranium, we don't have diamonds. We have what you have, brain. The human brain is the best locomotive to create miracles. The human brains can change the world. The population, the people, the young people, and not only the young people, are not a burden, but an asset for a country. And this is the best investment for a country. And that's what we did. Slowly, the huge breakthrough was in the beginning of the 90s, through the good immigration, aliyah to Israel from the ex-Soviet Union. About 1 million people came to Israel from the former Soviet Union. People who were engineers, mine engineers, roads engineers, did not find work. You could go to the women working in the supermarket and ask her, what was your previous occupation? She would say, I was a mine engineer. Israel understood that this is the opportunity we were waiting for. With a good approach, with a good taxation system, which allowed companies with IT approach, with high tech, with sophisticated items, with an academy which was pro-science orientation. You know that Israel has 6 Nobel Prize laureates in sciences. And through the incubators that the chief scientist in the Ministry of Trade initiated, incubators for thoughts, Israel proposed and opened the door for young and not young people to use their brain and to think how they could maximize their imagination. Because brain, thought, innovation is like a wonderful bird flying over endless fields. It has no borders. It changes the world. We are living now in a world of endless corridors of wealth and success. Companies are taking decisions, not governments. With such governmental support, with the incubators, which granted the young thinkers grants between $175,000 to $500,000, depends on the project, and thanks to a wonderful initiative, the name of this initiative was Yozma, initiative in English, taken in 1993, Israel made a miracle. The chief scientist in our ministry created an idea called Yozma, initiative, which enabled companies to allocate and to choose startups that might bring fortune. Out of 1,000 startups, one is succeeding in big. And Israel offered those who are dealing with startups and enjoying those thinking incubators. You can gamble on a good horse. We will participate with you. If you invest in an Israeli startup company a sum of money, we, the government, will do the same. You are not going to lose. If the startup loses, you lose only what you invested. We share the other half. Half sharing in losses. But if you succeed, you get the whole venture. You get the whole profit. And thanks to that, Israel succeeded to turn itself from a country which grows apples and tomatoes into a country of which 51% of our income derives from high-tech technologies. In the military, you heard about our Iron Dome system that intercepts rockets in the air, a genius idea that Israel is the only country which developed such a system. Airplanes without pilots. Agriculture, you know how Israel looks like. 60% of our area is a desert. We are big like Vojvodina. 20,000 square kilometers. 60% of our 20,000 kilometers are desert. Only 20% are good for agriculture work. But still, we produce 95% of our food. 10% of our people are engaged in IT companies. They are earning their bread from high-tech. Israel is the second Silicon Valley in the world after the United States. A small country located there in the Middle East between Hezbollah in the north, Hamas in the south, Daesh and Iran in the east, and the Mediterranean, which luckily is still blue and pretty. And some of our achievements, you use them without knowing. Let me be a bit more patriotic and give you some examples. Do you use mobile phones? They were developed with a great Israeli contribution. SMS system, Pentium, Intel, Windows, disk on key, women who perhaps using Epilady for being more pretty. Those things were created in Israel. Mobile application, Waze, purchased by Google. And young people who thought of Waze earned $1 million. The country, Israel, earned the revenues, the taxation, good benefits, Wix, MyHeritage, and a long list of other mobile smart applications. This is the right way. Some people ask me, top Serbian politicians, dear Yossi, you live here 3 years, more than 3 years, almost 4 years. What is the most beautiful view? What is the most beautiful thing you saw in amazing Serbia? Is it Kopaonik, which is wonderful for itself? Are there the mountains of the south, the blue waters of the Danube on the endless curves, Genesis water landscapes on the road to Kladovo? All very pretty. The green fields of Vojvodina, the ancient cities, amazing Belgrade. What do you like the most in Serbia? And you know what I told them? One visit I made in the National Library. I said, National Library? I said, the people. You are the most beautiful thing I saw in Serbia. I do believe in the Serbian spirit of innovation, of rethinking, of incubating smart ideas, of opening door to the future, not leading over nostalgia on the past, but looking to the future, creating, cooking your old cake of the future with your own hands. Being smart, you are. Use it. It cannot only be made by yourselves. The government has to do its share. The government has to incubate, has to pay, has to attract investors. The decision makers in this country, they know it very well. The Serbian spirit is the best answer for the Serbian necessity. Being smart, being innovative, creating things. In smart agriculture, you don't have to depend on rainfall in Vojvodina and in other places in order to have crops. We found ways how to maximize the use of soil. You can do the same. Milk productions, our cows are producing milk in the highest numbers in the world. Not because we talk to them nicely, but because we use smart technologies in food, in military assets, in usage consumption, in media. You can do the same. I would like to call not only you, I'm sure that I'm speaking to those who are convinced by themselves. I'm sure by coming here, you know that new energy is the answer. New energy, not necessarily regarding gas or oil, but new energy in thinking. A new thinking, openness, deep breath, and creation. You can do it. You are a wonderful people. I see so many similarities between Israelis and Serbs in creation. People are the asset of this country. They should not go to look for jobs abroad and to fertilize Europe with their smart ideas. They should come back here if the conditions prevail. And you can do it. And I would like to add one more dimension to the long list of our miracles that happened to Israel. Survival of the language, being strong, having a normal and healthy economy. Finally, we had also a natural miracle that happened to us. I hope it happens to you if it didn't happen already. We have finally some natural resources. It came parallel to the upheaval in the Israeli economy towards high-tech in the beginning of the 90s and was strengthened in 2008, 2009, 2010. We found natural gas. Finally, we don't lean only on our spirit, innovation, startups, connections, sweat. We have also some tangible assets close to the shore of Israel. The Leviathan is a Hebrew word for whale. Most of those natural gas whales are having names of maritime, like shark or whale or dolphin. We found gas. I think it's the largest gas resource that was found in the world in the last 15 years. Leviathan has about 600 BCMs, 600 milliard cubic meters. Altogether, we found approximately 1,000 BCM. It's an amazing thing. We are just in the beginning of using them. It also rose a lot of ethical, moral problems in Israel. How to be ready to use it on a right way. How not to let people get use of that and to become rich on the expense of the population. We decided that 40% of that natural gas will be direct to export. You heard about the North Stream and the South Stream. Perhaps one day Israel will be the host of the Holy Stream of natural gas that will be flown. Also, maybe here we use about 7.8 BCM per year, 7.8 milliard cubic meters of gas. We have agreements from this approximately 400 milliard that are directed to export. In the future, about 230 are already in procedures of signing agreements with some European and Arab countries like Egypt and Jordan. We are going to export to them gas. Imagine. It means that about 150 to 170 milliard are still free. Serbia, I made a slight research, uses about 2 BCMs per year only. I hope that I'm not mistaken. It opens the door for further, even more tighter cooperation between our countries because we are friends. We are not a huge success story, but if you compare Israel's preconditions, we cannot be but extremely proud. There are small countries in the world. They were born in peace, in tranquility. Denmark, does someone threaten the Danish people? Norway, Those countries have lesser population than we have, and you have. Ireland, and other, I would say, happy countries. We were born in war, in threats. Until that moment that we sit here, stand here and speak, there are people in the Middle East, I don't know if the majority, but lots of them, who dream of the day that Israel will not exist anymore. You don't have that problem. Serbia exists. No one doubts that Belgrade is the capital of the Serbian nation. No one doubts, no one puts any question mark on your existence, on your future. We are in danger. That drove us to try more. The necessity, the geopolitical conditions that were cruel and remain cruel to Israel. Once again, as we speak, scientists somewhere in the deserts of one big country in the Middle East are building atom facilities, nuclear threats, and they say, we want to annihilate that country, to destroy. So one danger comes, one danger goes. From war to terrorism, from terrorism to nuclear threats or challenges, to Daesh, which is sitting on our borders, the Islamic State in Syria. That very weird, cruel, unbelievable geopolitical situation drove the Israelis to try more. Not to sit in cafes with one coffee for 3 hours. I'm not accusing anyone. But to drink the coffee very fast and to go to work. And to think how we can do it better. How can we become a mecca, perhaps I shouldn't say mecca, a magnet of creation? How can we attract American Intel companies and Google to open offices in Tel Aviv and in Haifa and in Jerusalem? How can we become the second or the third country which has companies in the Nasdaq in America? We have more companies enlisted in Nasdaq than all Europe together. We, a small country, stuck there in the Middle East, created only 67 years ago. One can say, in spite of that horrible geopolitical standard, I would say because of that. Perhaps it was our miracle. We wanted to maximize and to stretch our mental muscles to the maximum. In a way, we did it. So yes, there are many countries in the world which are much more successful, bigger than us. Our GDP is approximately $300 million. I think it's about 6 times bigger than Serbia's. I think yours is 45 million. Why only 45? We are 8 million, you are 7.3 million. You cannot produce more? Who threatens you? Who closes the borders with you? Who boycotts you? Today, 2015, the age of excuses is over. That's very sad. Because mourning, having nostalgia, blaming others, it's so sweet. It's a beautiful sacharin to our breakfast. What can we do? Look at us. No, I'm looking at you. You can do much more. Why only 45 million? Why not 400 million? You are a creative nation. You are smart. In foreign companies, when they are hiring Serbian young people immigrating to Germany, to Canada, to Belgium, to Switzerland, they are very happy with them. Also in Israel. It's sad for Serbia. The individual earns, the collective loses. That's the responsibility of your nation, government and civil societies alike, to do everything to open a new page in the economic history of Serbia. And therefore, such activities, such conferences, organized by Robert and by others, are a wonderful opportunity to raise the voice and to say, our future is in our hands. We have a wonderful country. Yes, you do have. Your biggest asset is not only the wonderful Kopernik, which I adore, and not only the beautiful lakes and landscapes and valleys and mountains. It's you. Appreciate yourself first. Know that you can. I assure you, you can. No more external obstacles. You are, for God's sake, knocking on the most prestigious door. Europe, European Union. Wish we would be in a similar situation one day. I'm not sure about Europe because we are not European. But we maximized our potential being an island. We have on the north Lebanon, doesn't recognize us. Syria doesn't recognize us. Jordan does recognize us since 1994, but suffering heavy pressures from inside. Egypt, which is a strong strategic pillar of stability in the Middle East, but only a year and a half ago almost moved to the hands of the Islamic Brotherhood. We live in the most problematic neighborhood in the world. Believe me, you think that you have bad luck? Think twice. Think twice. Think 3 times. I think that in the moment that our dear Serbs, and I say it without any criticism, I say it out of deep love for this country, a deep appreciation, a deep solidarity, a deep sympathy, and a deep love. I know the diplomats should not use such emotions, but I don't hide it. I love this country very, very much. Therefore, I allow myself to be so direct. In the moment that you understand that you have the keys for the car called your future, not others. You can decide one day that you are effective, and you can do it. You can maximize your potential, which is huge. I know Serbs. I know your society. I know what you can do. You can do what we did even much better, because you can do it. My humbled request from you is do the maximum you can to create another economy in Serbia, to create another spirit of innovation, of high technology, of economic independence, of creativity, of intelligence, human intelligence. Use your brains because you have wonderful ones. Thank you very much. If someone wants to ask a question or to say how deeply angry he is, please do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Levi. Da li neko možda ima neko pitanje za ambasador Levija? Samo neka podigne ruku, naše devojke će prineti mikrofon.
Now they will say, where was the translation?
Petar Stakić from Institute. Thank you very much for that great speech, and I think that we can learn a lot from Israel, and that can be.
And we can learn from you also.
Yeah, thank you very much. But I would like to hear from you something about our bad side. What can be changed? Because you said that we are a good nation and that we are a clever nation, but we can learn from you something, and it will be good to hear what is our bad side and what is our problem, and why are we so slow in changing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next? No, I'm kidding. You put me in an awkward position. Robert saved me. Listen, my friend. There is a border that I will not cross, because after all, I'm not a private person, and I'm not criticizing anyone. I'm not criticizing anything. All I'm saying to you, I'm saying it even in harsher words and more direct words to decision makers. Okay? Because we are friends. We do not put any pressure over Serbia, in any context. We are friends. We learn from you about things that I would not like to speak about it now. And we would like to share you with our experience. There are several good examples. Agriculture. It's perhaps the easiest. It's so horrible that I want to cry. If you go to the supermarket and you want to buy food, the food that you buy is produced here or it's imported. Many things are imported. When I want to buy kukuruz, corn, I buy a can which is produced in Germany. Can you imagine this? Is it a bit a joke? Is it a candid camera? You are producing corn, for God's sake. And you import from Germany all the travel and I asked that question. I asked people who are in charge of corn makers. I put him on the corner. And I asked, how come? Corn is an example. How come? Flowers. You should import flowers? From Holland? Is there anything that you need not to grow flowers here? You have soil. You know, I was traveling here from Aleksandrovac to Kopaonik yesterday evening on the sunset. And I said to myself, oh my God, such a beautiful country. Empty, green horizons. From left to right. You don't agree? Or you do agree? You agree. Okay. So say yes, I agree. You see, you know, we don't have in Israel one certain place that you can look from the right to the left and up and down and see only green mountains and valleys without any single house or turbina or bridge or skyscrapers or some fancy boutique hotel. You have Genesis landscapes. You are a wonderful nature reserve. Maybe it was your luck, untouched almost. I mentioned the curves of the Danube towards Bulgaria, Romania, Klodovo, and all those places. Unbelievable. If we had those landscapes in Israel, the open fields, we can export not only corn, but anything that you can eat to Uranus and to Neptune. We would use it. We would use it. I asked the question to the people, how come that you are still dependent on rainfall? How come that you don't have a good irrigation system? How come that your crops per hectare are one of the lowest? Are you living in the 14th century? I should not say 14th century because it might sound political. Are you living in the 13th century? How it's possible? And you know, some give me some answers which are honest and I respect. Some say that some blame the mentality of the people. Some blame the bad luck. Some blame the bad management. Some go back to the NATO bombing. Some go back to the French Revolution. Some go back to King Solomon. The door of the era of excuses is closing. And you have good people. You have good people who take good decisions. The decision makers in that country know very well what the solution should be. High-techization of the agriculture. And they do it. I can't speak because things are under preparation, and who am I to make announcement? Your government should do it. And they do it. Slowly. I have, if I didn't say it, I have full trust in your government. If someone did not understand it, I have to say it again. I heard a cow here? No. I knew that I'm in the agriculture area. I have a full trust in your government. Well, cows came back from the from the green. Friends, I'm optimistic about your future. It's not the government alone, it's you. You, young and less young, you are the future of this wonderful country. The generations that were before are looking at you. We live a time that economy is the name of the game. Economy. And I will end that long monologue, which was very sincere, please understand it only as an expression of love to you. You can take it also personally. Let me say something that bothers me a lot. Robert, may I? Well, Robert, no. Something that bothers me a lot. The worst thing that happens to this country, and that has no remorse, that has no forgiveness, that cannot be saved. That the worst thing that happens now to this country is that you are shrinking. The Serbian people is shrinking. No kids, no babies, empty classes. You are losing in each census towns like Aranđelovac. From census to census, you are losing people. A nation that loses its young people has no future. This is one of the top priorities, if not the toppest. I know it goes hand in hand with improvement of your living standards, salaries, being able to feed them, to raise them. But also there is a small bit of, I would say it also in harsh words, selfishness and individualism. This country, this nation, and now I will say a thing that I didn't want to say, is a mixture of wonderful love to the patria, to the country, patriotism, big heart, but also a very big individual ego. The secret, the deep secret is, or the deep formula is how to bridge between the necessity of your nation and the welfare, the fulfillment of the aspirations of you as individuals. It must go hand in hand. If you are going to be 3 million people in 100 years from today, because you have no future, because you have no kids, because you have no next generation, forget about being strong and economically powerful and economically independent, and forget about the greatness that you owe to yourself. So I think this is priority, if not number one, then number two. And once again, I would like to thank you, including to the cows that were listening to me very nicely. I would like to thank you all. I really have huge sympathy for this country. Jews see you, Jews and especially Israeli Jews, see you as twins in heart. We are not neighbors on the geographic map, but we are in a way neighbors in history, in experience. I know it sounds like empty phrases, but I do believe in that. I see your past, I see your challenges, how you strove so much to keep your identity against challenges, how you lost huge parts of your population in wars. I truly believe that time is over for you. I do believe for you the worst is over. The future, in a way, is economy. Economy in the broad sense. Economy is better trains, better education, better media, better salaries. This is the future. And you can walk on this beautiful carpet or corridor leading you to a beautiful future if you want to do it. It's in your hands. That's what I'm trying to say to you. It is in your hands. Do we have time or not?
I think that would be all. Thank you, Ambassador Levi, for the great speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. As we say in Hebrew, shalom, shalom.